Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to this FS25 mod preview video. And thank you to Pharmacorp for your support as a Diamond channel member. And in this video we will furnish part of my British farmhouse. As you can see, my British farmhouse is in the Giants editor now. So after being worked on in Blender, I could import it to the Giants editor. And it's time to furnish it. I already furnished part of the living room with my German audience, and now we can keep on going. But first I show it to you as it is right now. Yeah, here you can see the house. And I think in my last video I said something about now I have to do the second UV, and if you are not a modder you will have no idea what this is all about. And this second UV is needed to make something like this moss that you can see at the roof here. And if I wouldn't have this second UV and this moss definition, the whole roof would look all the same and it would look like new from the factory. But usually houses are a little bit or more or less lived in, and that means they have moss at the roof and some dirt around the ground floor and so. And for this and other functions like snow definitions and so, we have this invisible second UV where I can paint the area where I want to have moss. And this you can see rather good here in all the areas where it is especially humid, in the corners and down there because the water is falling down and such. We have more moss than in other regions. You can't see the dirt so much here. I don't know why. I painted dirt around the ground. Maybe I should check whether I have the full dirt, because I can change the amount of dirt and moss, but it's at 1, that is the maximum. So if I would want to have more dirt, I would need to change the texture for that. But right now it's okay. I have my moss on the roof, and that let this house look a little bit lived in. Still rather fresh, but a little bit lived in. Yeah, and now we go and look inside, and therefore I make the roof invisible and the top floor invisible. I just leave the windows because that would be too much clickety-clack. And I didn't sort the windows from the floor, and therefore I need to find out which one to deactivate. And don't worry, those flower pots will be removed. I imported them, and so they sit at the center place. This is one thing I wanted to show to you. I made this corner bench especially for this niche, this special window, and yeah, I like it. And maybe I put some cushions there later. It is a little bit fiddly-fuddly, and therefore I better do it alone. And this will be the kitchen and dining area. So the kitchen will be over there, and here we have a dining table. And yeah, and then people can sit there and enjoy life in the kitchen. And here we have the living room with a fireplace, because we have those chimneys on the roof, and I thought, okay, this is a really good occasion to put a chimney into the living room. And here you see the fireplace, how it looks with the fire lit. You can go there and click and light the fire. And yeah, I even made a little animation, and it's not really like a real fire, I know. A fire would be flickering and so going up and down. I could make this as a very short animation, this flames going up and down, but it would still not look like a real fire, and it would end after a few seconds. And this here, I can keep on running as long as you wish. So you can switch the fire off and on. And yeah, and it can stay on the whole night through if you want, or you can switch it off after a short time. And there will be a little frizzle sound like burning fire also. And now I'll show you how it looks when the burning is turned off. And you don't need to do this, you just go there and click, and then the magic happens. And here, this is the unlit firewood that is ready for burning sitting in the fireplace. Yeah, and here we have some more firewood for you waiting, but this is just decorative. And then we have oh, I just see the vase is a little bit sunken into the table. Like such, it's better. And we only have a small sofa area, because this living room is really, really small. And I already heard that traditional English houses are small, and I took it from a real life floor plan and even made it 10% wider, which was not enough, I guess, but it is already wider than the original floor plan. And yeah, therefore all is a little bit squeezed in. And if you are British, or if you know British homes, well, maybe you can tell me whether they are indeed a little bit narrow and squeezed in. Because the floor plan says, yes, it is. But I have never really been in a normal British house. I was in a British hotel and in a British airport and such, but not in a British residential house. I only know it from images and TV. I saw TV shows where they made up the house for house flipping and such. And yeah, but from the measurements, this should be okay-ish. And what I thought is we add a little desk here in this area, because I think a farmer's house needs to have a desk area where the farmer can calculate all this stuff, the money that he gets from the state and he has to pay to the state and such, and therefore you definitely need a desk. Yeah, and that's what we will doing now. I think that is a good table for the dining room, but not for calculating your stuff. Maybe we can take this table. So, and then I bring this up to the living room area to have everything sorted, like so. And here, this is my furniture paradise with all the furniture that I made myself for furnishing farmhouses. And so always when I have a farmhouse, I bring in all my furniture stuff and decorative stuff and such, and yeah, and put it at the house where I want the stuff to be. And from time to time, I take myself some days to make more and new furniture, and then this furniture paradise increases. But I made new furniture last year, and for the time being, I think it's okay. So, oops, it will be a little bit squeezed, especially when we as a player want to go around this chair. So maybe I need to put this chair a little bit closer to the fireplace and closer to the table. Maybe like that. Yeah, maybe we can squeeze through this area. This is somewhat a little bit difficult with furnishing a house because we are so wide and so tall that normal sized buildings and furnishings and so yeah, they are just too narrow, everything and so. So now we need a chair. And I think that would be rather okay-ish for this thingy. It looks a little bit old-fashioned and country-like. And maybe sooner or later I should make office chair, but right now the farmer has to live with that. And maybe I could put a little oops, oh, what happened to this chair? This is not how it should be. Okay, so come up. Ah, yeah, it has his pivot point not at the ground where it should be, but too high. Like that, it's okay. Yeah, so now here a little cupboard. I think it's at the bed area. I take this simple one. Like so. And then we put a computer there. Bedside table. Okay. Here. like so. It just fits into this little corner. Yeah, and now I'm searching for the notebook. Where is it? Ah, there. And then I also take this screen so, oops, here, yes. Oh, and maybe just some, come on, some of those ring binders. Because I think even in modern time, the farmer will need some paper stuff. I also need those, even if I have an internet enterprise. But for all those financial stuff and so the TV is not a TV but a monitor, and I make it much smaller, maybe like this, and then we put, oh, I have to turn it like so, and then a notebook. And by the way, this background image is from my FS19 map Port Limbo. And I'm still very proud of my lighthouse that I made, especially for this occasion. Yeah, maybe sooner or later, if I have a lot of time, I will bring this Port Limbo to FS25 or maybe FS28 if I can't manage to bring it to FS25. Because in a way it was a nice map. It just was too late. It came out 3 weeks before the release of FS22, and therefore not so many people played on it. Yeah, and now I could do it much better, I think. But I would have to make all the houses new, or at least to give them a new texturing. I had different texturing method, and yeah, and they don't want it to have, and it's not working with the snow, and so it would take weeks or months to make all the buildings new. Okay. Let's check whether we can go inside. I think yes, maybe. We will try it out as soon as I have this in the game, but that will still take several days. Here would be a nice place for a narrow plant. Yeah, but we don't have a lot of narrow green plants in FS25. I would need to convert it from FS22. So maybe I'll do it. Okay. So that's what we did right now. Maybe I should put an image there. Yeah, it would improve with an image. So what kind of image do we take? Maybe that one. That is from my map, Waldsee. also from FS19. And here I have several FS farm sim screenshots from my maps, and the other images are painted by myself. And then here those are different with tractors from older game versions and so forth. But this here is from Waldsee. That means a forest lake. And it was my first map, a forest map. And I never play forestry, or only rarely. But I started making it when the Rottne pack came out. So also very late in FS19. And I think I wouldn't make another forest map because, yeah, now I want to make maps that I like to play myself. But a very nice map with rather a lot of forest would be okay. But with fields as well, so that we can have normal gameplay. Okay, now I like it better than before. So let's switch on the parts of the house again. Like so, and like so. Oh, and I have another question to you. Here in the back of the house, it's not yet finished. And I could make something like, I don't know how it's called in English. In America it would be a porch. I think, yes, a porch. But a porch is usually more at the front. But something like a porch here with some area. How big? And I prepared, let's see, I have it here. No, come on, yes. I prepared here a piece of a 3D object that I can change. I have to change it in Blender, but I put it in this mystical second UV already and put some dirt on it, that I have this ready for using as the floor of maybe a porch, or we would call it terrace. But I think a terrace is something completely different in English, or because we have this terrace flower pots that you wouldn't put on a German terrace. So sometimes it's funny how the words, similar words, are used quite differently in different languages. But here, what I want to know from you is whether you want some building attached feature in the back of the house at all, how big you want it, and whether you want something like a roof or maybe just a contraption from wooden posts that bring you some shadow in the summer but don't prevent from rain. That would be typical for German terraces. And so you can tell me what you want in the back of the house. Yeah, and I'm sure I can't fulfill all wishes, because usually the wishes are different from everybody, but I try to listen to you and make the best out of it. Yeah. And now is still time to tell me what you would like to have in the back of the house. And the front will be more or less like that. And yeah, I don't know whether I will add a bicycle, but I won't add a lot of other stuff there. So it stays more or less like that. Okay then. Thank you for your support as a Ruby channel member. If you want to buy FS25 or a DLC, feel free to use my code OMATANA. You'll find the link for the PC version in the video description. It doesn't cost you anything extra and supports me a lot. Now I wish you a wonderful day, thank you for watching and all the best till next time. Tschüss!